The last company we're looking at today is the Heidi Latsky Dance Company. And I think her company is definitely the most modern, postmodern company we're looking at today. She sees the world in a very artistic way and with very differentiating bodies. She says that her mission is to redefine beauty and virtuosity through performance and discourse by employing performers with unique attributes to bring rigorous, passionate, provocative contemporary dance to diverse audiences. So she's looking to kind of shake up the whole dance world. She's not here to create beautiful work. She's trying to change what does beauty mean and why does it have to be this certain set of rules for what beauty is. She founded her dance company in 2001. She based many of her works at the beginning of her career about what it is to be human and her own personal life experiences that have deeply affected her. This is a very different approach from the other two companies, and it's kind of similar to her dancer's performance of Five Open Mouths. She's the performer of Five Open Mouths is an amputee, and she creates a new way of moving using her core and rolling and showing that she doesn't have to be what you think she needs to be or what she needs to look like. And it's a very personal experience about what it was like for her to lose her limbs and very deeply affected her. But then in 2006, there was this shift from her company of this focus on deep personal experiences to began focusing on diversity and, quote, prioritizing collaboration, centering radical bodies, exquisite asymmetries, moments of raw or uncomfortable beauty, and differences as sites of power. In 2006, this was the beginning of her GIMP project, and that was the basis for this whole project. I think the most important part of this sentence was differences as sites of power. Difference does not make you weak. Difference does not make you inadequate. Difference does not make you less of a dancer than anyone else. It's your power, and it's kind of something that makes you move different, makes you unique, and that is powerful. Same for the moments of raw or uncomfortable beauty. Why does beauty in that way make you uncomfortable? And kind of making society question why we are the way we are and why we have these ideals of beauty. The GIMP project, as I said, she started in 2006, kind of explored the connotation behind words, the negative connotation around disability. And the goal of this project was to get the names of disabled artists out there and to show that the artistry they have instead of dance only being a therapeutic tool for those who are disabled. So this is kind of the same as the Kendoko company of dance is not therapy in the situation. Dance is art for disabled bodies too. It's not always therapeutic. They are professionals. Heidi wanted to push the limits of how bodies can be presented and explore why some are discouraged from certain presentations, such as like sexual presentations. Why can't these different bodies be presented in that way? And why do we have to consume these bodies in the way we want to? And what does it feel like to be consumed by audiences the way you don't want to be? So she does play around with that in the GIMP project. And then she moves on to her second project, On Display. So she definitely explores intersectional identities in her On Display project. She focuses on the consumption of bodies here again, but this time it also calls out society for the surface level obsession of beauty. And it's kind of very similar to Freak Show era, where these bodies were consumed in a way of they were different, they are not beautiful, so let me use them as an entertainment to kind of be like, oh, thank goodness I'm not like that. So she wants to fight against that culture that still kind of exists in our society of consumption of these bodies for our entertainment, saying they're like inspirational or they're very brave for getting out there. But no, these bodies aren't here for entertainment. They're here to say something. And she emphasizes that a disabled person can also be Black. They can be queer. All these different identities and spectrums, there's a cross between them. And one's not more prevalent than the other. It's your own self-identity. And then she also did another project called Displayed. So the basis of this project is, quote, disrupting space, dismantling normal, redefining beauty. She uses AR technology, and she actually was able to collaborate with Google's Creative Lab. And that just shows how innovative she's become and how she's pushing forward to not only include these different bodies from all these different backgrounds, but also play with these modern ideas of technology. This project was based on where the audience stands, and where they stand, they have headphones on, and they can hear sounds that coordinate with the movement of that dancer. It's like a gallery walk, but Latsky avoids the feeling of consuming the bodies as objects. It's emotional and it's raw, and it changes your ideas of what beauty is. And these people have also collaborated with fashion, and so it's a mix of fashion, art, and dance. It's very beautiful, and I think it's progressive in many different ways. Another article I read about her project on display, quote, Victoria Dombrowski says she was a performer on display, and she kind of discusses what it feels like to have the audience's eyes on you so intimately in a gallery walk. So I found this very interesting. She says, you feel the public's eyes on you, just as you are. And by feeling their presence and letting them see you, you are acknowledging them as well. The audience is intertwined and part of the sculpture court as they walk through us and see us for who we are. No elaborate costumes, no extravagant makeup, no fancy tricks to impress. End quote. And I found this very interesting because no fancy tricks to impress. Just during the freak show era, they were using these tricks to impress. They were creating this idea of someone and putting it on display for everyone to see. And this is quite literally the opposite of what Heidi is doing compared to freak shows. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's showing raw, beautiful bodies and putting them on display in a way it's meaningful. And that's the difference, I think, between dance and freak shows. Yes, they're both presenting bodies, but one is trying to show someone for who they are and what they mean to themselves in the world. And then freak shows that completely discredit the human, and they decide to put what they believe onto someone's body. And that's definitely not okay. And I think that Heidi is completely altering that perception of bodies, and she's doing a wonderful job with it in a very modernized way, and I applaud her. Yeah.